Hey everyone, Joe Cosentino. Welcome, Coffee with Cosentino. We're back in Morris Park. Today we have a special guest, Paul Carassone, the property boss. Paul, thanks for coming.
Hey, my pleasure. Thank you.
buddy.
Yeah.
So tell everyone that doesn't really know you. Obviously, we got to know you through social media and through some of the networking events. But where do you come from? Where were you born?
Well,
Where'd you grow up?
Okay, so ultimately, born and bred Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
All
Grew up maybe 20 years ago. We decided to get out of Brooklyn and go and raise a family elsewhere. So that's the story. But growing up, Brooklyn style wasn't easy. And you know what's crazy? I still can't let the accent go. I mean, it shows up in everything I say.
Yeah.
And if I get heated, oofa, then it really shows up. But it's wild, especially being in business, you try to tone it down.
Yeah.
You can't, man.
It's
I
impossible.
can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I try.
Yeah. And like coming from the Bronx, there's an accent.
Of course.
Obviously, when I moved up to Westchester, everyone in Westchester knew I was from the Bronx, and it was always like, "Wow, you talk very funny," because they talk a little differently in Westchester. But if you go out of New York, and you go to some of these other states,
Oh my God.
everyone has a New York accent.
Yes. Yes.
Whether you're from Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, they think we all have the same accent.
Right. Right.
So that's funny how you bring that up. And where do you live now?
I'm up in the Hudson Valley.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
Dutchess
you got
County.
out of Williamsburg, it was too crowded, and you went up and got some land.
It turned into a shit show.
Yeah.
It really did, man. I mean,
This is before it was today, like gentrified.
no. It was starting to get gentrified. First thing I did was move out. Then sold a house years later.
Right.
But I saw the writing on the wall. I knew it was time to get out, and we just jumped.
Yeah.
And
Do you go back to the neighborhood at all?
it disgusts me.
Really?
Yeah, it really does, man. Number one, I can't stand dealing with traffic. I'd rather sit in a car for 5 minutes and travel 5 miles
Right.
than sit in a car for an hour and travel 5 miles.
It's
And when you get down to the city, man, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, we have to deal with traffic. I mean, you saw today, I had to rush over here and from literally a mile, 2 miles away. It took me a half hour.
Yeah, I'm not built for that anymore.
It's got to be a certain mindset that
Yeah.
you need, and you got to really allow yourself some time to get around in the city.
Yep, we go down to the city, it's just a pain in the ass now. We don't do that anymore. Do I miss certain things about being in my neighborhood? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the neighborhood has completely changed.
Right.
Now, we're back and forth between New York and Florida. And Florida is just as bad
Yeah, it's crowded.
oh my God, it's wild how much traffic there is down there. I like going there, but let me rephrase that. I love going there,
Yeah.
but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It really is. I look forward to it. I'm like, yeah, I look forward to traffic. Yeah, that's right, traffic. No.
Especially in the winter months when everyone's there.
Yeah.
Summer it's not as bad because I go there often.
Okay.
As you know, we go back and forth.
Yep.
But getting around, that's why I don't even have a car in Florida. I pretty much Uber everywhere, or walk.
Yeah.
But it's really a lot of traffic.
I do keep a
Almost
car
as
there.
bad.
I do keep a car there, but I'm going down in what, 2 weeks? Yeah, something like that. And I'm shipping that car back here.
Doesn't really pay to have a car, I don't think.
Well,
Unless
we're there at least a week a month, but it's just it's a pain in the ass, man. I don't want to keep a car there. I'll just rent one. I don't need
if
it.
you need a
Yeah,
car,
I don't
rent
need
or
it.
take Uber. I have drivers. Like I said,
Yeah.
I made good relationships with a lot of New York guys that moved down there.
Right.
So when they see us,
Of
and
course.
they love us because they know we're New York guys.
Yeah.
Guys, the brand new Escalade. The guy's, $100. It takes me everywhere. I go to Boca.
Yep.
I go to Del Rey. I can go to Miami.
Yep.
So why have a car? I got a driver.
I gotcha.
That drives me around, and I'm safe. I'm secure, and it's a brand new car.
It's funny because I keep a Rolls there. And it's a pain in the ass to have that car. Period. No matter where it is, it's a pain in the ass to have it. Over here, potholes. You got to worry about potholes. Down there, you're just not going to park it anywhere. So now everywhere you go, it's valet. Valet, they see it's a rose. It's a yard note right off the top. It's $100, period. If you're going 3 different places, in one day, it's $300 to park the car.
You're right. I see you coming from a mile away.
It's just stupid.
I know. That's why I take the Ubers.
Yeah, I got you, man.
So talk about your occupation. Not everyone knows what you do.
Okay.
Even though it's real estate related.
Right.
And you're property boss. But
Right.
talk about how'd you go from your occupation
Well, okay, so
where you are today?
I grew up in supermarkets. And that gave me a pretty good business acumen. Then I opened up my own deli at about 19. I lost it by 20.
Wow. Tough business.
Well, no, it wasn't a tough business. I wasn't ready for business. Right. I just wanted to go and hang out. I was going to clubs. Everything was a party. Right. The last thing I was thinking about was business. The business was going to run itself. Yeah. I had people coming in working for me. I wasn't going to the store. They're rubbing me blind. Right. You know what? Yeah. Lost it. Lost every penny I put in it. Wow. It happens. Yeah. What did it teach me? Take care of your own shit. Right. Nobody's going to watch your money like you watch your money. That's for sure. Then I had go back to about 18 years old. I bought the house from my mother. Nice. Yeah. You know what? Things were bad. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the long of the story. I bought the house from my mother. And you're in Brooklyn. You're growing up on the streets. You're hanging out with your friends. Right. You're always thinking. Yep. So now, I always wanted to be in real estate, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. So I convinced my mother to sell me the house. Paul, what are you going to buy the house? What are you going to do with the house? You're going to lose the fucking house on me? This was it, you know? So now
This was at 18.
This is at 18. I come home one day, the electricity's off. Oh wow. She couldn't pay the electric bill. Wow. So I'm like, Ma, what happened? She's in the kitchen crying. I was like, well, Ma, if you sell me the house, then we'll turn off the electric. I got a fresh one. Yeah, I got a fresh one right across the mouth. About 3 days later, she says to me, can you really buy the house for me? I says, of course. Okay. All right, I'll sell you the house. I'll sell you the house for what I paid for it. Okay. Now she's asking me, when are you going to pay me? I says, no, well, Ma, you know what? Here's what we have to do. We have to go to the bank and apply for a mortgage. I'm going to refi the house and give you the money. Another fresh one. I knew you were going to rope me in somehow. I said, Ma, but what are you talking about? This is okay. Believe me when I tell you. If you lose my house, it'll be your house, but it'll always be my house. And if you lose my house, son, you're going to get it, but good. I said, okay. I go, Greenpoint Savings Bank. Yep. Take out a mortgage on the house, 18%. Wow. People worry about mortgage rates now at 7% and they're having a conniption. Sure. 18%.
Was this in the 80s?
This was in the 80s, yeah. So now I walk away with, don't hold me to it, maybe 57, 59,000. I give her the money. Right. The rest of the money I opened the deli. So that's where I got the money to buy the deli. Got it. I paid her because she said you can buy the house for what I paid for it. So I gave her the $14,000. Wow. That was it.
When did she buy that? In the 70s?
Oh shit, in the 60s. Yeah. So now we everything's good. There was an apartment upstairs, renting it out, paying the mortgage. Everything is good. Wow. And still now, lost the deli. Go back to the markets. And working my way up, Back then I was in the deli. Right. But then I just went around to all the departments, sooner or later becoming assistant manager, front-end manager. And it teaches you a lot. Yeah. Everything I know about business came from working in supermarkets. Wow. And learning. Yeah. Working every department. I mean, I remember 13 years old, baling cardboard in the basement. Wow. And I pick up a box one day. Water bugs running up my arm, my chest. I mean, disgusting. To this day, I skeeve them. Yeah. So now
To get your first property.
Yep,
You-
no. So now what happens? My father has a couple of buildings in the Bronx,
Okay.
Moshula Parkway, areas like that.
Right.
So he sells the buildings and he moves upstate. So now he buys some buildings up there, but the buildings he bought up there would loses.
Right.
So now he's losing everything.
Wow.
And he's not losing everything per se, like he's going out of business. He's having a rough time because now he's running everything by himself.
Right.
And it's just too time consuming. So he asked my brother and I to get involved. And because of what I knew from the markets about being, running business,
Right.
I was able to go in there. And you know what? One of the things I said to him was, Pa, you got to understand something. In the city, you've got more asses than seats. Up here, you've got more seats than asses.
Right.
So you better give them something special.
Supply and
Yeah. They're not just going to come here because you're on the block. No. They have to have something different, a reason to come here.
Right.
So one of the properties turned around, renovated it, begged and borrowed, came up with the money to do it because you're talking about $2 million in renovations.
That's a big renovation.
That was a big renovations, yeah. So
Big today.
yeah. So we get the place, we turn it around, fill it up. And he asked me, he says,
Jack up all the rents.
oh, then what happens?
Market rents.
What happens? Years later, the market collapses. So now,
And what year was this? Like 07, 06?
this is '02 maybe. Okay. Now,
It was right after the .com.
yes. So things were going sideways. '02, '03, something like that. So now we wind up, my brother and I wind up, I asked him, I said, Pa, listen, Mark and I will buy the business from you. Oh, yeah? What do you think? You're going to lose everything on me? I said, I'm not going to lose anything on you. So now he sells us the buildings, the business. So we buy it from him. I said, Pa, listen, we'll pay you off.
Was it a management business or was it just real
No,
estate?
it was real estate.
Real estate.
Right. So we take it over and we start running it.
Nice.
Now, 2007 comes. My plan was renovate it, refi it, buy.
Right.
It worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
Because now, the only thing that went wrong was you weren't able to get money.
Right. The bank stopped lending.
But 2008, I came across a mortgage broker who was able to get us money.
That was good.
And we refied it, cashed out, and the rest is history.
That's great.
Yeah, then we just started buying. We were buying 100-unit complexes for $5 million,
Wow.
which is peanuts. We have that property was 119 units, 119 rentals. Unloaded that, we refied that one,
Yeah.
bought an 80, bought a 70. I mean, we really went to town.
Yeah.
And then the 80, couple years later, we refied that. The only thing was, it was an agency loan with yield maintenance. And for yield maintenance has a prepayment penalty.
Right.
So
People don't-
if
some
people,
people
I was
don't
just
know
going to
what
go
that
that if
means.
people don't understand, on commercial mortgages, you have what is called prepayment penalty. And depending on the type of mortgage you have, whether it comes from a bank or it comes from an agency, whether it's an agency, a swap, things like that, those are different loans and different places to go to for the money, will determine the prepayment penalty. And yield maintenance is the shittiest of all. So now I talked to,
This is on the 80 unit.
yeah, I talked to a mentor of mine. And he said to me, Paul, sometimes you have to kill the squirrel to get the cat. In other words, you have to take the loss to get what you really want. And I took the L. I took the loss and then just kept growing. Yeah, just kept growing. And now, I mean, we're pretty much always in a refi.
It's great.
We've built up a
Even
portfolio.
rates this high.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Because for the last 20 plus years, everything I've ever purchased or refied, I've always underwritten at 7%.
Okay.
Why? Because people don't know the 20-year average interest rate is 7%. So why would I go against the grain when I know that rates were kept artificially low for 20 years? I mean, think about that.
Yeah, no, it's smart
2%?
to do that. Sure. No,
No.
it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
basically free money.
Exactly.
But people got spoiled and
That's
they
it.
got, they got greedy.
Yeah.
I know a lot of investors, not like you, but they over leveraged.
Yeah.
They didn't go high. They went low. Oh, 2%. That's what I'm going to use to underwrite my buildings. And now they're underwater.
No, people are getting kabonged now.
So you got to always be
Yeah.
smart in real estate. I
Well-
tell people all the time, be smart about what you buy.
You know, it's funny. I hate these phrases and catchphrases that they use. One of the ones I hate the most. Well, you know, real estate, you don't wait to buy, you buy and then wait. I have never heard such a pile of shit line like that one. No, they're missing a couple of words there. Buy real estate at the right price and then wait. That's a different animal, correct. If you buy it at the wrong price, when the market drops, you'll be lucky if you appreciate to what you paid.
Sure.
Otherwise, you're going to find yourself upside down, unable to pull out. When that loan comes due,
Done.
no, no, no.
I mean, that happened in 06. I see guys that paid, top dollar in
Yeah.
06. They still haven't recouped what
Yeah.
the prices were in 06.
That's right.
And now with all the laws, I mean, New York City is tough on. So all the prices are down right now. 2-3 years ago, everything was booming. Now all of a sudden, you're seeing the same buildings trading at like 30% less.
But you know, here's the thing. People talk about New York. It may be a difficult city to operate in, but right now you're finding generational pricing.
Right.
The prices, the deals are out there. You just have to know where to go. And don't be afraid to buy in New York. People are just afraid to buy in New York City. There are some deals out there, man, I could tell you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not interested in buying, but if I found a nice one,
Yeah.
I'd pick it up.
Yeah, smart.
You know?
Gotta look for the deal.
Well, yeah, you know what? We're starting to look for things like trailer parks, stuff like that. We're not going to get out of multifamily. We just want to diversify our assets a little bit.
To have
Yeah.
a little diversity.
Yeah. I mean, here, a couple of weeks ago, I go look at a piece of property. Get this one. 103 units, Madison Avenue.
Wow.
Okay? You're talking about Madison Midtown in the 40s.
Top,
Prime,
top.
prime real estate, 39 unit building, 39 floors.
Okay.
I go in there, I look at it, the guy wants 190 million.
Wow.
Guy wants 90 million for the deal. I start sizing it up, pricing it out. I'm looking at it. I was like, this deal don't work until it hits 45 million.
Wow.
Then I send it to my mortgage broker. I ask Matt, check this out. Let me know if my numbers are wrong or if I'm crazy. He said, what's going on here? He calls me back. He says, Paul, that's the number.
Wow.
That's when it makes sense. Anything more than that, it doesn't make sense. Now, here's the problem. The guy paid about 75 million, put another 10 million into the place, 12 million. He's trying to make $1 and get out.
Yeah.
But he's
Stuck.
dead and stinking in there now.
Stuck.
Yeah, he's in a bad place. And you're finding that everywhere.
No, it's good that you have that, sense and that you can look at that because not every investor looks at that.
Yeah, here.
And they end up losing it or, you got displaced people. The bank doesn't want it. The bank
No.
doesn't want to be a landlord.
No.
And, so I see that happen a lot.
And then you have all full recourse loans. I mean, commercial money is going to be full recourse.
Yeah.
It's a rare occasion you get non-recourse. For the most part, it's full recourse. Now think about that.
Yeah,
You just bought a property. You just lost a property. They're coming after you for the balance, and they'll take your house.
oh, yeah. They'll take everything.
Yeah.
So
The real estate
Smart.
dream turned into the real estate nightmare.
Right.
People don't get it,
be
man.
smart.
Yeah. Yes. 100%.
So,
Be patient. Be the patient buyer.
yeah, keep looking and
Yeah.
don't jump at sometimes if it looks too good to be
It is
true,
too good.
It is too good.
Yeah.
There's always a catch.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a catch.
Building Washington Heights comes across my desk, 7.7 million. Beautiful property. Always wanted to be in the Heights. And there's a restaurant I go to that's right around the corner from this building. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to, you know what? 7.7. The guy bought it in 2018. 2018 for 15 million. He's selling it now for 7.7. Here's a guy who's taken the loss
Taking the hit.
to get out of the building. You know what? The building still hasn't sold. And I'm looking at this building for over a year now.
Wow.
Now I knew I wasn't going to get into it because I knew there was something wrong, but nobody's picking up this
Yeah,
building.
something's wrong.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So when you're not working and you're not doing all these, great things, what do you do for fun? What do you like to do
Well,
for recreation?
I'm a pilot.
Oh, nice.
So you know what? When I've got nothing to do, I jump in my plane, I go for a flight.
That's awesome.
And a lot of times I just jump in the plane evening time, right around sunset. I'll fly down the Hudson River corridor, drop down after the Verrazano Bridge and shoot down the Jersey Shore nice and low and ride by the beach, then turn around, come back, kill myself an hour. And, you come back sunset. It's real nice, and I mean, what else?
How long you been flying?
Oh, shit, since I'm about 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I've been flying a long time.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I went, my metal shop teacher in junior high took me for my first flight. All right. Then I went for my first lesson out at Teterboro.
Okay.
And every now and then I would try and get in. I'd hang out at the airports,
Right.
try to get in on a flight with somebody, learn a little here, learn a little there. Then when I was about 17, I started to go for my pilot's license, and I became the perpetual student.
That's pretty ballsy for a
Yeah,
17-year-old
yeah.
to
Oh,
go
listen.
get his license.
You know what?
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun, and you know what? You're 17, you're 18 years old.
Why not?
Girls want to know you're a pilot.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
That's great.
Yeah, man, a lot of fun.
So when I always like to ask this question out to all my guests, and your dreams. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you have dreams? Do you think about the 5-year plan?
It's funny you say that. I asked somebody that one day, and I got the wildest response. I've accomplished all my dreams. I was like,
Yes.
wow, that is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You always got to have something.
You know what? If I've accomplished all my dreams, that means I'm ready to drop.
Right.
Okay? I will never stop dreaming. My next dream, I want to be a billionaire. I'm going to the next level.
Nice.
Okay? And I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the type to give up.
Keep working.
I keep pushing, and I get what I want because I don't stop till I get it.
Yeah.
People have a tendency to, oh, this is hard. Yo, you're damn right it's hard. But do it.
Exactly. That's why there's only a few billionaires.
Yeah. Nah, listen, man, you know
If it
what?
was easy, everyone would do it.
That's right.
Same thing in our business. If it was easy, everyone
Everybody would do it, and everybody would be successful. What's the number? 95% of the people who start out in real estate fail. Think about that. You're in a room with 100 people, everybody with the same dream. The only thing, 95 of them will drop out, stop, or fail.
Yeah, I remember.
That's wild.
I look at, I'm doing this 20 years.
Yep.
So 20 years ago, if maybe 4, 5 people in the Bronx are still left from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm one of them, and I was young, like the young guy.
Yeah.
But like you said, 95% all gone. Whether they had a broker, they had teams, they were agents, they just couldn't make it a sustainable business.
Yeah,
They
it's
just
a
couldn't
hard
figure
business.
it out.
People, I'm down in Miami all the time. Everybody's an agent.
Yeah.
Everybody's making money.
Yeah.
No, that they passed. Prices are down 30%. 30% in Florida. Think about that. You can't even get an offer. You're working 3 times harder just to get an offer.
Right.
That's
So imagine
wild.
making no money and,
Yeah.
and living in that expensive.
Yep.
Because Miami's not cheap.
No, man.
It's probably more than New York now. To go out for dinner, just in Miami, it's
Yeah, and then
you're spending 500-600. Then the drinking and the party. Forget it.
yeah, well that's it.
The lifestyle.
That's the Miami dream. Everybody wants to do it, but you can't get caught up in that trap. You'll go broke. Right? You want to go somewhere in Miami? Broke is the where. All right, that's where you'll go there. If you don't have money to support that lifestyle, you will go broke.
Yeah, and you
It's
can't
wild.
be making money there. You got to go down there with money, and you got to have some sort of like business here, and kind of be able to support your lifestyle
your lifestyle.
down there, because you don't want to drain all your money and
Yep.
Florida.
I remember going down, I don't know, it had to be about 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm talking with one of the gurus. And then he asks me to go look at a property. He says, go size it up. Let me think what you think. Let me see what you think about it. So now I go look at it. He sends me with one of his guys. And I said, what's the out on this? And he says, well, he's going to refi it. I says, my rates are going to go up. The response was crazy. Oh, rates ain't going to go up. I was like, what?
Yeah, right.
I was like, okay, here's a problem right here. This was a syndicated. The new thing now is everybody syndicates.
Right. Didn't have an exit strategy.
Didn't have an exit strategy, and he still has it, but you know what? You have problems.
Yeah.
And it shows. It'll show in the way you run the property. It'll show the way the property shows itself,
Right.
And that's the guru lifestyle.
Right.
They all teach you that it's easy. They all teach you syndicate. You know what? Somebody came to me with a deal, and they wanted a piece of it,
Right.
and it makes no sense. You think I'm going to get in on it?
No.
If you don't know what the hell you're doing, why would I go into business with you?
Sure.
You could, but here, that's because I know it. That's because you know it.
Right.
But what about all the people who follow all the superstars on social media?
Yeah, everyone's a superstar on social media.
Listen.
But in real life,
Yeah.
they're losers.
Yeah. That's the absolute truth.
Real guys are.
The next collapse, you'll be able to coin it the guru collapse, the social media collapse, because that will be what caused it.
Sure.
Everybody fell in love. They thought it was easy. They drank the Kool-Aid, and now they're in trouble.
I agree. I mean, I see it. I see the realtors all going down one by one. I mean, in our business, everyone, and you go on Instagram and you can stand in front of somebody's house or building and say, "I just sold this."
Yeah, sure.
And I'm used to seeing that, but now it's going away. The people.
Okay.
These people are all leaving the business, and it's the real people will be left.
Mm-hmm.
So, but thank you for coming on.
No, you kidding me?
Great
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate all your knowledge. If you have any input or advice to a young investor or a young entrepreneur coming into business or real estate, what would you give? What kind of advice would you give them?
Be patient. Patience leads to success. Don't worry about missing a deal. Learn from everything. There's a couple of things you need to know before you buy a piece of real estate. Where, why? Where are you going to buy? Why do you want to buy there? Why are things changing there? And then the big what is the municipality like to work with?
Right. That's important.
Yeah.
Especially in the cities and in
Yeah, man.
boroughs, it's not easy.
No. If you know what that municipality is like, leave that on the side. If you're willing to accept that, that's your issue. That's your thing. It's
Permits and building
exactly.
department,
Yeah, man.
codes and
Yep.
I know.
People never look at that,
Fire
but that's
department.
they'll come around.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. Coffee with Cosentino, Joe Cosentino. Have a great day.